Hey there, rock stars. Sarah Rockin' Robbins here, author of the best-selling book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, and creator of the CD series, the Rockstar Recruiting School, my new one for leaders, the Masterclass Edition. I want to welcome you all to the Rockstar Recruiting School Live. I would love to hear who's out there today, so type in the comments below who you are, where you're tuning in from, and if this is your first time joining us, type in the number 1 because I would love to welcome you. And don't forget, guys, the more who know, the greater your team will grow. Click the share button right now to share this on your team pages. You can share for a chance for a shout out. This will truly be invaluable information for your team. Doesn't matter what company you're in, because we don't talk about companies, we don't talk about products here. We just talk about how to rock your network marketing business. All right, guys, today I'm super excited about our talk. We're going to be talking a little bit about how to align with your why. And thank you so much for sharing, to Shauna and everybody else who's posting. I so appreciate it. Again, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to align with your why and really the importance behind that. You've heard people say that anything is possible if your reason why is big enough. But really, is that true? I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about that today, because how many of you have ever been on the network marketing roller coaster, right? Raise your hand or raise a virtual hand if you can relate. Somebody joined you, you're up. Somebody quits, you're down. And right, it's like, man, one day they're in, we're in, they're out, we're out, right? How would you like to be in a place where you can, instead of being driven by your doubts or disappointments, you can start to be driven by your dream? Go ahead and hit the number 2 if you want to be in that place. Amber, thank you so much for sharing. I want to hear that from you guys today. Well, the other day we had a speaker on our team call. We do an international training call every single Sunday night, and she was awesome. She was talking about last night how, you know, you really can't be in the place of chasing titles, right? That when we get into chasing titles and we get into chasing accolades and we get into chasing programs, man, that can only reel us into a place. We can only start to get into a web of disappointment, right? When we don't hit it, or we don't hit it by a certain target. And, you know, it's kind of funny. I started to think about that a little bit, and I thought, you know, that is so true. You know, it's so crazy when I see people say, oh yeah, I'm so pumped about my business. I'm going to go to convention because convention is the best investment. Your company convention is the best investment you will make in your business. I want you to think about that. You spend however much money for a starter kit, right? Because you want to be successful, yet you're unwilling to invest in the #1 event of the year to grow your business. That's where the magic happens. That's where belief is built. That's where your skill set is built. That's where you bond with other people across your company and you start to brainstorm. That is where leaders are made. But then they say convention gets close, they miss the recognition goal. Well, I'm not going to show up to convention unless I'm a level X, Y, and Z. I'm not level so-and-so. I'm not the best leader in the world, so you know what? I'm just not going to go. Isn't that a little ego-driven? I mean, doesn't that sound just a little bit insecure? That's like me saying, you know what, I'm just not going to go to the grocery store today because my hair's not on point. Like, get over it. Get over yourself. If you want to be a level, you know, diamond executive X, Y, and Z, then your butt should be in that seat learning from the best. We humble ourselves. You know, when you think about, you don't just go to work and become the CEO the next day. You work your way up the ladder, right? You humble yourselves. You might work as a volunteer. You might work as an intern, but you want to be learning from the best of the best in order to get to that place where you're the cream of the crop, and whatever it is that they have, you can have. But how do you get there? You get there by submitting first and being a student of the business. So we get into this place where we're driven by all of our doubts, all of our disappointments, our timelines, you know, chasing titles, chasing programs, our timelines, right? And then all of a sudden we allow these things to determine our destiny. Did you ever think about this? Disappointments and doubt, they're temporary. Those are temporary. Yet we allow these temporary to totally derail us and to get us off track from our dream? Why would you allow a temporary disappointment to steal your dream? That's why it is so important, guys, that we get back to aligning with our why and remembering the reason why we started in the very first place. I'll never forget. Back in the day, our company did some recognition. We don't do it anymore, but we did, $1 million circles, things like that. And I was recognized as $10 million circle, right? First person to achieve the $10 million circle in our company. And they did this video, they did this recognition piece, and they were talking to me a little bit about, what does it mean? And, what have we been able to do? And, with that amount of influence and success and all of those things. And I remember saying this, and I want you to write this down. Success is not about pursuing prosperity. It's about pursuing purpose. I'm going to say that again. Success is not about pursuing prosperity. It's about pursuing purpose. Now, prosperity can follow purpose. It certainly has for us. But for us, it was never about chasing a title. There actually wasn't titles back when I started my company. I would actually hit certain levels, and then they would create titles around where I was, and I was the first to achieve it because this is where Sarah Robbins was in the company. I mean, that's really how it all started. I wasn't chasing a title. I wasn't chasing accolades. I wasn't chasing programs. I was literally chasing my dream. I had earned $2,200 a month because the economy was so bad here in Michigan, and due to the automotive industry, and all the houses on our street were up for foreclosure. And I tell you what, I had to earn enough to just pay the bills. So that was my why. It was covering the bills. And then eventually, as our income grew, so did the impact that we were able to make on other people. Then I had on my heart, you know what? I still want to impact children. When I was able to retire from teaching, I still want to impact children, but on a greater magnitude. And I had this crazy dream. I wanted to start a foundation for women and children that I would fully fund through my network marketing earnings. Now, I tell this story in my book. Drop a 3 in the comments below if you have this book, and tell me your favorite part, or tell me what you learned, or tell me how it impacted your business. I want to read those comments later. They're a blessing to me. But on page 35 in my book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, I talk a little bit about the why. And I remember a mentor of mine saying, I was going through the roller coaster, right? And I was in, I was out, I was up, I was down. And our old president, her name is Lori, she used to lovingly joke with me. She was like, Sarah, you quit more than anybody else in the business. And it's true. I threatened to quit all the time. I mean, it was terrible. I must have been the most horrible person to have on the other end of the phone. You'd be the person at your upline's like, Sarah Robbins on the phone. I'm going to send that to voicemail, right? Just don't want to listen to her. I was always negative. I was always defeated. She was like, you need to make a decision. So I remember talking to one of my mentors, and she was like, Sarah, what is your why? And Kelly said she read it twice. She's going for the 3rd time. That is awesome. Really starts to sink in, right? So I said my why is to start a foundation for women and children. And she said, how much is that going to cost? And I was like, millions. And she was like, how does that feel? And I said, to be honest, I'm totally overwhelmed. And she said, this is the problem. Instead of being driven by your dream, you're being driven by your doubt and your disappointment. So every time something doesn't go your way, your dream doesn't really seem like a reality to you. So it's easy to just say, this isn't working, I quit. By the way, I love when people are like, this isn't working. I'm like, is it not working, or are you not working? Because if it's working for somebody in your company, we can just assume that, magically works for them and it's not going to work for you, or we can just assume that you need to get back to work, right? Network marketing, not net lazy marketing. So she says, here's what you need to do. You need to, all about the why, break down your goals. How do you, an elephant, right? One bite at a time, into bite-sized goals. So she said, Sarah, I want you to start that foundation. I want you to take a percentage of every check, even if it's just 10%. And now you may not be able to write scholarships and build homes and do all these things like I can do today. But maybe you'll take 10%. If it's 10% of $200 and it's $20, maybe you can put that toward a grocery gift card, right? For a family in need, for children in need. And I started to do that every single month. And as my income grew, so did the impact that I was able to have on others. I could send kids to fine arts camp. I sent kids to go see a play, a single mom. We were able to build a handicap ramp for a child in need. And eventually that led up to writing checks for scholarships and now opening up our 3rd orphanage for children overseas, empowering education and nutrition programs here within the U.S. and being top donors for those programs. And we don't just give, we go, thanks to not only the resources, but the time freedom that the business has allowed for us as well. And you see, guys, now I'm at the place, I see those little faces, I see all of my son Gabriel's sisters and brothers in India, and I think there is no way that I'm going to give up on them. See, when you quit, when you say no, oh, I'm not going to convention unless I'm a such and such leader, how do you think you're going to get there? By going to convention and learning how to do the business. I'm just going to quit the business. It's not working. Who do you say no to? You're saying no to your team, your future team. You are saying no to your family, and ultimately you are saying no to your dream. You see, I am so clear on my why. I am so clear on my why, leaving legacy for my child and the children's lives that we will impact around the world. That nothing, nobody, they can quit, sad for them, sorry for them. They can tell me I'm crazy, I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that, the other, whatever. I don't care what the naysayers say. I will never walk out on my dream. Guys, there is absolutely nothing like seeing your reason why in action. I want you to get clear on it. I want you to get this book. I want you to literally start breaking it down and working toward it. If you've got a company event, a convention coming up, get your butt in that seat. Humble yourself. What do they say about pride? Pride comes before the fall, guys. Humble yourself, submit yourself to leadership, learn, become a student of the profession. And let me just tell you, it will not be easy, but it will be so worth it. Because again, there is nothing like seeing your reason why in action. All right, now it's your turn. What's your why? I want you to drop it in the comments below. I'm going to read them. I'm going to cheer you guys on. Make sure that you share this video. Click the share button below with your team. And maybe you do that as an exercise this week, guys, where you have your team. You give them this video and you give them an outline to write out their why, to break it into goals, and you start celebrating the progress you make along the way. Not to the title, but to the why. Watch to see. This will have your team on fire this year. Unstoppable. All right, guys, I hope today's training blessed you. You blessed me. I hope you guys have a great day. God bless, and goodbye for now. Rock on, rock stars.